Roku sells out, AI pragmatism, and Guy Barash has an axe to grind. Welcome to the Unlimited Supply Podcast, your daily music business TLDR in your ear, powered by panic, legal warfare, and squandered opportunities, and brought to you by No Disc, helping music, technology, and finance companies navigate the music industry, and partnered with Digital Music News. I'm Lars Murray. It's June 16th, 2026. It's a mostly AI Tech Tuesday, so let's geek right out. Who sells out? The Who sells out? No, Roku sells out. Oh well, Roku was good while it lasted. For the past 4 or 5 years or so, I've become a Roku guy. I've tried them all. Fire Stick, Chromecast, and, well, not Apple TV. That's just a little outside my price range. But Roku has done a great job of providing value, ease of use, robustness, and in my case, most importantly, portability, to the point where I even consume my cable. Yes, I still have cable, haven't cut the cord yet because my cable company keeps negotiating down. Even my cable TV comes through Roku for now. Alas, Roku sold out. Yesterday, it was announced that Fox was buying Roku for 22 queeners, $22 billion, so now Roku is going to be part of the Murdoch empire. Let's put politics aside for a second. I don't exactly love putting money in Rupert and Lachlan's pockets, but, well, there's this thing called the World Cup this month. Still, I try not to engage with them more than necessary. Nope. It's not just politics. It's not just that I don't love. It's that pretty much every tech investment that News Corp has made over the past 30 years has been an unmitigated flop. MySpace, whatever that tablet magazine they launched was called, it goes all the way back to Delphi, the dial-up internet service of the early 90s. They destroyed them all, and let's not even talk about how terrible their current mobile and TV apps are just for the World Cup. I still think there's a lot of opportunity for music in the video streaming and over-the-top universe, but it's tough not to feel that progress just got slowed down a little. We'll see. Last week at Indie Week, I noted that I was slightly encouraged that AI freakout seems to be rapidly being replaced by AI pragmatism in the business. There's still a lot to work out, but it seems to be well on the way to working itself out. And as with everything else in AI, the process of it working itself out is accelerating. Of course, we're not out of the woods yet, and in a few minutes, our Axegrinder will talk about that a little bit on the publishing side. But one example of this pragmatism is that while a lot of artists are reflexively freaking out about AI, it's nice to see a genuine old in a position of power addressing this perceived threat with action rather than words. Lionel Richie has followed in the steps of Taylor Swift in moving to trademark his very voice. And while this move may not ultimately prove that effective in protecting him, it does set the tone for an entire cohort of older artists. Because, as every lawyer I've ever talked to has drilled into my head, copyright must be protected actively. The full story is over at Music Business Worldwide. Lionel Richie and Taylor Swift are off to a good start, but the tech guys, of course, are always a step ahead. Over in Billboard, Rachel Scharf is reporting that YouTube may have pulled the biggest AI training data heist of the century, and that's saying something. While Anthropic and OpenAI are being sued for having stolen their training data, Google and YouTube are claiming that anything on YouTube is fair game for training. So, effectively, if you've put something up on YouTube, sorry. Of course, you probably unwittingly gave them permission to do this. It's undoubtedly buried somewhere deep in the YouTube terms of service, which nobody ever reads. Now, there would be a worthy crusade, TOS reform. Luckily, this is not settled law, and honestly, it seems Google is a little late to this game. Even the filing amounts to an admission that there may be some question about their training data rights, where the rest of the industry has basically stonewalled the issue. There's a lot at stake here, given that basically everything is on YouTube when it comes to music, not to mention that user-generated content is a key part of the ecosystem, meaning that a lot of creators probably don't even know that some of their stuff is up there while it's being scraped actively for AI training. We'll be keeping an eye on this one. Paradoxically, scraping data from YouTube may be the least worst of data training options when it comes to a healthy diversity of source material. Over at Billboard, guest columnist Rufi Anan Ghazi argues that a data training set based on Western pop, jazz, and classical will just perpetuate and cement the global dominance of those genres. We often talk about AI feeding upon itself, or AI inbreeding. We call it nine-toed cats. But if that musical DNA is heavily biased toward the permanently dominant genres, it could put a huge damper on the creative possibilities, even for folks who are using AI tools ethically for creation. Given the pace of change in AI, this may turn out to be a temporary issue, but it is an important point nonetheless, and the idea that AI training favors the incumbents in general and may stifle innovation is an important and underrated consideration. If you're a creator of any kind, another way that you can assert some control over the AI future is to take care of your metadata. And in fact, that metadata is pretty important, not just for AI training, but in the here and now. We have another recent Billboard guest columnist as a guest today. His name is Guy Barash. He's a composer and performer, and he's also the founder of Dotted Eighth, a company dedicated to helping the music industry deal with AI and digital transformation. Guy Barash has an axe to grind.
I'm Guy Barash from Dotted Eighth, and this is my axe to grind. AI readiness, or lack thereof, in music publishing. Everyone in music publishing right now is feeling the pressure to do something with AI. But the conversation moves too quickly to evaluating tools, vendors, thinking whether to build something in-house or buy. Very few people are stopping to ask, what exactly are we trying to fix? The hardest part is not selecting the right solution. It's understanding the current state clearly enough. And I mainly talk about data and workflows to ensure that whatever decision that is made regarding AI or whatever gets built actually works in your environment. I recently had a conversation with a publisher about data quality. At some point, he asked me very directly, how does having more complete and accurate data actually make us money? It's a fair question. For a long time, improving data quality has looked like a cost, and the return is not always obvious. But the more I think about it, the answer is very simple. Good data doesn't only help publishers protect their catalogs, it also makes new opportunities more visible and therefore more actionable. For example, look at key decision makers in the industry, whether it's music supervisors or artistic directors. If you don't have your catalog tagged with those keywords, with those themes, topics, you can't match them. You can't surface opportunities from that. And that needs to be in the metadata. It actually adds value. So in situations like this, I like to pause, take a step back, and review the current state, the underlying infrastructure, data, workflows, or as I said in a recent article for Billboard, the publishers that benefit most from AI will not necessarily be the ones that moved first, but those that took time to understand what they needed from it. And that is surprisingly difficult to do from the inside, because over time, workarounds become process. Assumptions become invisible. Fragmentation becomes normalized. From within, everything makes sense. That's where external assessment comes in handy, because it brings inherent distance. It allows us to surface where systems contradict each other, make the implicit explicit, free from being influenced by how things have always worked. Without that, even the best tools only amplify existing problems. I'm Guy Barash, and that's my axe to grind.
Thank you, Guy, and you're welcome back anytime. And that's another Tech Tuesday. Support for Unlimited Supply is provided by you, our listeners. Sign up for a full year of support, and you'll get the limited edition Unlimited Supply Merit Badge Trucker Hat, which we manufactured in limited quantities by popular demand. If you're just dipping a toe in, you can also get yourself a merit badge, or literally just buy me a coffee. There's a link in the show notes. If you like what you hear, please hit that follow button wherever you get your pods, including now Substack, and drop us a rating and or a review on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or Spotify, and tell a friend or three. Links are in the show notes, but you can also visit unlimitedsupplypod.com to sign up for our newsletter, to tell us what you think about the show, to suggest feature ideas, to feed us info, to feed us lunch, to call us out on our dubious assertions, and to tell us what we're missing out on. I'm Lars Murray, and remember, in this business, no conflict means no interest.